Hello, Kitchen Stitchers. It's Arlene and Cindy. It has been,
A month,
oh gosh, almost a month and a half.
maybe?
No, because did we do this in August? No, because the babies weren't born.
September.
So it's been August, and it's been 2.5 months. Oh gosh, time has flown, and we've had a lot of life that happened in between. And we'll tell you about some of that. But the first one, you knew that we were waiting to have our grandbabies. My first, her fourth, and they happened a day apart from each other. So that we were hoping they would be on the same day, but they were close. I'm sorry, I shaking the table there, but it was so close, and it was pretty amazing. For me, we've given birth, right? And I never watched myself give birth because I was too busy pushing to think about what that looked like. But I had the full view of everything that was going on, and it was just, my daughter was amazing. And I think for me, that's been the most amazing thing in this whole process, is watching her become mom. She was saying the other day that she was with a mom's group, and they had some lady coming in and saying about how you don't need to, you need to give yourself time to mourn the life that you had. And, it's okay to mourn who you were before you had kids. And she looked at me and she said, Mom, I don't feel that way. She said, I feel like this is just an extension of who I've been meant to be. And I love being a mom, which that's so big, because as a kid, and all the stuff we went through with divorce, and, she was just bound and determined she was not going to have children. And I never, when you're young, you don't even know what you don't know. It's like trying to tell a toddler what it feels like to fall in love for the first time. But yeah, that's been pretty awesome. So here is baby Corey with her dad. She's 2 months old there, and she's doing really well, a little over 2 months, doing really well holding up her head, which is just amazing to see that happen. And you had baby number 4.
I had baby number 4. Her name is Drew Elizabeth. It's my daughter that lives in Tennessee, and this is her recent photo. This was actually last week.
She was born with that full head of hair.
Yes, she was known as the blonde baby in the hospital, which was really funny. She was born C-section, so she had a perfectly shaped head. And this is we had pictures done last week. They were all up. This is my other 3. So I have Rosie, who's the tall one, JJ, and Harper. Harper is my second one, JJ is my third, and then Drew is now my 4th.
So this was her just the other day. She was laying down and making all kinds of noise. She's super loud. So we could go on and on just showing you pictures of the babies, but that's not why you're here. So we will try to contain ourselves. But in the meantime, we've had things happen. My husband fell. David is the chef, and he fell and he fractured part of a disc in his back. So he's being the recalcitrant patient. He does not like to wear the back brace, but fortunately it's going to heal, and there's no problem with having to have surgery. So that's good. That's really good. And Cindy lost a friend at work, and that was hard. And it's been a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
So that's why we were delayed, and we didn't actually get back in September when we expected we would. So there's been a lot of life happening. But yeah. Cindy has gotten into her house, and everything is all settled, and she's working on lawn, and this woman is a warrior with this beautiful house, and it looks like a home now. So that's fun. So she decided, well, we're at my house. Obviously, you recognize the background here. And she is going to share with you some of her favorite tools. You didn't bring the one favorite little tool that I was very sad to see go.
Which one?
It's a little cup. Measuring cup.
My measuring cup.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
That. I was thinking gadgets, not containers.
Yeah. So anyway, she's got some stuff to show you. That's her favorites.
So I'm a Pampered Chef girl. Not all my stuff is Pampered Chef, but I truly, truly love this. This is one of my favorite tools.
I love that too.
It's a mix and mash, so you can beat it with your hand. You can twist it. You can just ground beef, sausage, anything like that, like for biscuits and gravy or whatever you're making with a sauce. The Italian. This thing is my best friend. I absolutely love this.
It's so much easier than like trying to mash with a spatula.
With a spatula flipping and then chopping.
Yeah, no, I love that.
This just makes it easier. So this next one is my little thin slicer. So I love garlic. Garlic is a food group to me.
Yes.
I love garlic. There's no vampires in my house. But this thing will shave it down. So basically, I peel the garlic, or I go to Jungle Jim's, which is one of my favorite places to shop.
It's a
And-
big department or grocery store
Grocery
here
store.
that has like everything from all around the world.
And they sell peeled garlic, so you don't have to go through and peel it all. So they'll sell it in bulk for $2 or $3, and I'll use it over the course of a few weeks or so. But anyway, I love making. I have this one recipe that I call Tag PicPac, and you literally use an entire head of garlic. It's a ton of garlic, and you toast it. So you put about a half a cup of olive oil in your pan, and your sliced shaved garlic, and you just kind of move it around until it browns. You don't want to leave it too long, or it'll burn.
On
And
the
you
stove,
on the stove.
top.
Then you would add tomatoes to it, like petite diced tomatoes. I do 2 cans of that, and then I do chicken that I've done like Montreal seasoning or something like that, and I shred it. Put that in there with fresh basil, salt and pepper, and then serve it over top of angel hair pasta. It's amazing. But this little guy is my favorite, and I chop it for risotto, for anything I do that
Does that
I
turn?
need shake.
Then you
Yeah,
just
you
turn
put it in, and you just fits in there, and you just grind it down in the pressure, and it goes through. So I absolutely love that. This one is my chopper, which I have worn 4 of these out. I started buying these like in the early
When they first came out?
When they first came out,
Yeah, me
probably
too.
late like 1998, 7, something like that. I mean, they've been around for a long time. I use this thing all the time.
David doesn't let me use that.
I know.
Yeah, if he's around to chop, he
He
wants
wants
to
to
chop.
chop. His knife skills are amazing.
You could chop.
He taught me a lot, but every now and then I
Yeah.
use this.
If he's not around, that's what I use.
So I have a story. I had a friend when I lived in Tennessee. I used to cook for big groups, and the biggest group I ever cooked for was over 400 people, and we did heavy appetizers. And it was just, we called it Parmesan dip because we didn't want people to get grossed out if they didn't like artichokes or thought they didn't like artichokes. And so we cut, I think we had 3 or 4 boxes of the number 10 cans, the really big ones, 6 in each box. And my friend Hope and I chopped all of those artichoke hearts.
Well, your palms must have been sore.
Oh my gosh, we were wet. I mean, we had juice everywhere, but we laughed. I always said it was dangerous to be my friend because you never knew what you'd end up doing in the kitchen. And Hope was amazing for that. So, but this was, I love this. Now, these are, so I got this for myself. I dropped hints for a long time and nobody ever got it for me. This is my immersion blender, and I love doing soups and, different stuff that you want to pulverize. So it just goes on the end, and the thing I like about this is because it's not like the blender. With a blender, you pour hot stuff in, it can explode on you, which can burn you, make a mess. It's just the pressure from doing that. With this, you simply just put it in your pot, turn it on, and it will emulsify whatever's in there. So it's a wonderful little tool. I love this guy. My last 2 are similar but a little different. If you've ever had to squeeze lemons or limes and you're trying to not get the seeds in, or you're trying to get the last little bit, this little guy is amazing. You basically cut your your lemon in half, put your face down with the juice, and it has holes so it keeps the seeds, and then you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, and it basically inverts the skin so it goes inside out, but you get every drop.
So, I did that wrong when I first used it because I thought you put it seems to me to say you put the lemon in here with the part that's going to, and it'll squeeze it out this way.
Yeah.
You do it the other way around.
Other way around.
That's very interesting.
So it keeps the seeds and gets the juice.
I'm learning so much tonight. Should I admit my stupid, I didn't know that. So there's this thing called the Mandela effect. And it's called this because there are people that really to this day believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison. And they don't know that he didn't die and he became president and just all of this. I think that was his title in South Africa. But but anyway, it's called the Mandela effect. And you can look this up, and there are things like different examples that you will, from popular stories like Fruit Loops. How do you spell Fruit Loops? You look at that box all the time, and most people think it's Fruit, but it's Froot, right? And so you're like, I would swear it said fruit, right? So I, for whatever reason, had in my head that the Washington Redskins were in Seattle or Washington State. And I knew that Seattle had its own team, but I thought it was in Washington. I found out tonight from Cindy that it was in D.C. I consider myself to be a somewhat smart, like not killer smart, but I'm not stupid. I am very stupid about sports. I will just tell you that right up front. I know that football goes through the upright white things, and that's the goal. And that baseball, you run around bases, and football, you just watch people run back and forth on a field. And same with tennis, except they're hitting a ball back and forth, right? So I do know those things, but yeah, that learning lots tonight. Well, that's fun. She also has this little cup. It's about this big, and
It holds literally a quarter cup, 4 ounces, and it's just a little mini cup.
but it's got all the measurements
Yes.
under 4 ounces.
So you can do tablespoons, you can do ounces, whatever you need, and you pour it in. You can see from the inside what it is, and it's just the handiest little thing.
Yeah, is it OXO? Is it like
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Yep.
It's really, really, really good. So you didn't bring your stitching, did you?
I didn't bring my stitching.
We're going to come. We have to start stitching
I
together.
know.
Yes,
I
well,
know.
life has been happening. So I have a bunch of little things to show from stitching. So last time you saw me working on this, which is it was called Tiles by Christina Tellen. So Tellen Emblems. So that was kind of my fun stitchy, just because I got this at StitchCon with my lady friends at StitchCon, and so I did think I finished it, except I forgot the one corner, so I got to go back and finish that one corner. No idea what I'm going to do with this. It's probably just going to go in my finished pile, and someday, probably when I die, someone will find all of these things that I finished and go, oh, great grandma Arlene used to do this. Huh. And then I have been working since last time on so Cindy and I last week, was it a couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks
ago. Worked on the squares. So she cut out the felt for me, and I was working on cutting out all the individual pieces for the advent calendar. And hopefully next time in November when we get together, I'll have this all together and it will be something I can show you. But then I participated in the hands-on design costume party stitch along. Now that was, I love those kinds of things. So a stitch along is where you sign up and everybody all over the place is stitching with you, and so you're posting what your progress is. And what was really cool about this is she had not just the design to cross stitch, but she had a design of things, of little characters. So it was a costume party. And this is, I haven't got it fully finished yet, but that's what it looked like. It ended up looking like. So much fun. I love the colors, nice and bright. And so that was the easy part. But then she had this piece on perforated paper. Now, I have to admit, I don't like stitching on perforated paper because I stitch in hand. And you can't really do, you have to go up and down on perforated paper. I thought, okay, I'll do it anyway. So the fun thing is I started reading into this and realizing that it wasn't just perforated paper. She had you go in and take little ink stamps and dye your perforated paper. So I experimented with some colors on what I wanted to do. And then she had the finishing part of it was to look somewhat like I don't think I have the finished part in here, but people were finishing it like a banner. No, I don't have a picture of that, but it was you could do whatever you wanted with the perforated paper. Some people framed them, but I thought, you know what? I have a granddaughter and she might want to play at Halloween with some things. So the stitching goes on this board, which is kind of a tombstone oriented board, and it was all part of the package of things that she had people buy it. But then I decided to make my little characters be little stand-up characters from the perforated paper. So they all stand around that party background. So there was a little witch, and I modified some of her colors. I like the purple, so I did some purple paper, purple stamping. I did his, you can't really tell his, but his is kind of a glowy silver on the background. And then there was Frank, so I made Frank on green paper. And then there was a cat. she didn't, I did change the colors on this because I wanted my cat to be orange. So I made the face of the cat orange so it would stick out a little differently. I think that the face on this, she made a lot of the faces the same color. I think they were all green, and I didn't want everybody to be all green. So like I changed Dracula to be more pale, and so anyway, that was how I stitched this up a little differently. And they all just stand around in the little costume party, so that was kind of fun. And it's fun to be a little bit creative with that. But yay for Kathy, she did a nice job on this with hands-on design. Then I did a finish, and I don't think I showed this because I finished this, oh gosh, it was, Claire got married and I was doing this for the wedding, so it would have been last year. And so I had seen this, that's right, I had seen this design, and I'll have to think about who the designer was, because it wasn't Satsuma Street, but it looked very much like Satsuma, but they had Cincinnati. And my daughter lives downtown, and so a lot of her house has got some Cincinnati-based posters, reds, and all this kind of thing. So I put on here for her their wedding date, the first date, their first date, and their engagement date, and then their wedding date. So, and it was all downtown, so that'll be fun. Her birthday is in October 15th, so that's part of her birthday gift. And then I finally finished up some Shepherd's Bushes. They had a box series, and so I'd finally gotten the boxes, and so that was the Halloween one, all stitched the way they had recommended. And this was their Thanksgiving one, so it was fun to put that on a box. Very nice. I like it when it's finished. I'll have to tell you that I don't finish things Cindy's a sewer. She can finish anything. I don't finish things very well. In fact, whenever I have attempted to try to finish things, I usually end up taking them to keepsakes, and Barbara laughs at me. The last thing that I did was an ornament, and I really tried. And, you know, I could pin it okay, but the back is just not my thing. And so I thought, okay, I'll cover it with wrapping paper on the back. Oh, that was bad. So, and it was a really small, over one, full coverage. And I spent a lot of time on it. I wanted it to look pretty, so Barbara refinished it for me last year. And then there are a couple of new things that I picked up to look at possibly finishing. I like this from Strong Girl. It says, "You are stronger than you know and loved more than you can imagine." So that's a good one. Mm-hmm. And then I liked this one because I liked the bottom. "Today is full of possible." So that's an Amy Brucken design. So that one down at the bottom is the one that I like. So I'll have to think about doing that. And then I got this because, you know, I like to make cookies at Christmas time. So we'll see. I don't know that I'll do that on black. I'm not sure I'm wild about the black, but it could be some nice gold for Christmas, or it could even be I don't know about green because of the green stuff behind it. So I'll have to think about what that might be. And then this was a freebie to download from Satsuma. No, I bought it. It was a purchase off of Etsy from Satsuma Street. And I really liked that design. And that could be a really fun pillow. And I did buy the fabric for it. So here's the fabric that they recommended. It was aqua linen. 1, 2, 3 stitches where I picked it up. So that'll be fun. I kind of like I thought it looked more blue in the photograph, but I think it's an okay color. So I think that it's not quite the blue that it looked like it was, but I still think that green behind it will be pretty. So those were my big things that I had picked up and all that I had to do. So Cindy and I will have to start stitching together. We've tended to just be talking and walking. So once it gets a little colder outside, we'll have some more time to stitch together.
Yep. I haven't been as inspired. I've been too busy with the outside of my house.
Yes, yeah, but it's all good. So anyway, David says hello, and I told him that some of you had made comments, and he is very tickled that you all said hello, and he says hello back, and he is being a good patient as best as he can, and all is well. So that's all we have for now. Thank you for joining us in my kitchen this time, and we'll see you in about a month or so. Bye. Bye.